Award season always gets a little political, but last night's Screen Actors Guild Awards, when actress and longtime activist Jane Fonda accepted her Lifetime Achievement Award, she had something to say. Take a look.
What we create is empathy. Make no mistake, empathy is not weak or woke. And by the way, woke just means you give a damn about other people. Even if they're of a different political persuasion, we need to call upon our empathy and not judge, but listen from our hearts and welcome them into our tent, because we are going to need a big tent to resist successfully what's coming at us.
So are people going to take the message to heart? These are two different questions, neither which I really want to ask. But
what do you want to know?
When you heard her say that, which is, you know, inclusion, you know, what'd you think?
I loved that. I loved that tone, because I think when you, the reason as an independent I lean left is the empathy. It's so easy and natural to have empathy for people that are oppressed, minorities, LGBTQ+, you name it, any group. But when she named the part of other political persuasions, I felt like there was this like kind of jolt, because in the room it was like, yes, 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 and remember to understand them from their hearts, the way an actor would, because actors play bad roles. She went on to say things about men who had to play awful characters, women who had to do this. She said to play them to this level, you have to walk in their shoes. You have to understand even the bad ones. And I thought what she said just landed really heavy with me as a reminder that don't just do the easy empathy, do the empathy that challenges you a little further.
For me, it was incredibly inspiring. And again, part of this shift that I think we are beginning to see, because we've seen several award shows, and frankly, nobody has been political the way she was yesterday. And it also gave me inspiration because, you know, there's a lot of people that are older that have marched, that have protested in the past, that are now saying, you know, we're tired. It's time that the young people do it. And Jane Fonda just reminded us that you are never too old, that you are never too successful. This is a woman who has been protesting and standing up for her beliefs. Sometimes I've disagreed with her, and it has cost her at times, had great costs at her career. And you do not give up on America. You don't turn your back on America. When America needs us to stand up, speak up, and show up, we have to continue doing it.
I thought about the conversations you and I have had, Whoopi, so many times, about the co-opting of the word woke. And the fact that the right somehow has made it a dirty word. To be woke is a word that came out of the African-American community, and it was about acknowledging social justice inequities, acknowledging people suffering. It is not a bad thing to care about other people, to care about the sufferings of others, and to act upon it. And so Whoopi will often tell me, well, I've never been asleep. And that's how I feel. My parents, you know, they grew up in the civil rights movement. I grew up in the late 60s, 70s. I was always a part of it. And so I've never been asleep. And so it angers me when people are like, this woke stuff, it's gotta go. That's telling me that you don't care about my lived experience. You don't care about the oppression of the LGBTQ community. You don't care about the oppression of the disabled. You don't care about the oppression of immigrants. You don't care about your fellow neighbor. And that is ungodly. That is not Christian.
So, yeah, but you know what the most ironic thing is? They don't care about it, and they don't care about it while wearing big fat crosses around their necks.
Well, you know what? I think we always have to remember that all things that make people uncomfortable would be called woke. Everything. There have not been changes made in this country that were made without people being woke. We had to wake up and see that there's nothing wrong with who you want to love as long as you keep me in mind when I say, this is who I love. All of these things were challenged by people who said, oh, maybe they didn't say you're too woke, but they used whatever the hip word of the time was. This has always been, it will always be. This is what change does. It makes people uncomfortable. It scares people, makes people think that they are losing their place. You're not losing your place.
No.
What your place is telling you is that there are more people out for this gig, and you better be better than you were.
Yes.
It's not.
Equality can feel
It's
like
not
oppression to those that have always been at the top of the ladder.
Regardless of where you fit, that fear doesn't work. It doesn't work for any of us. It doesn't work for any of us because it allows too many of us to be smushed by it. And if you're woke, good. You know, good. It'll make you a better person.